The Asian Avengers, so weak.
Asian Avengers, so weak, so fuckable, bro. You know? Whoa. There's 5 Asian guys together. Wow.
Together. Did you ever go through a stealing phase?
Do I think everyone should have a gun? Maybe.
Or you can look me up. I don't care. I'll fight you. I don't care.
You want to get high as fuck? You like opium?
And we are back with another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast. I am your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is, this is the first episode we are recording in 2021. It's actually January 2nd, 2021. We are so excited to be back. We hope you had a great New Year's Eve, even though you probably had to stay inside. And if you went out, I'm going to call the cops on you. So go ahead and email us your name because that you're not supposed to do that. As always, if you are listening to this on your phones, please take a screenshot, tag us at Asian Not Asian Pod, and post it on Instagram stories. If you're an iTunes listeners, please leave a review. And if you want more me and Mike content, go to Patreon, patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod, and we'll give you a shout out if you join. So we always do the shout out at the end of the episode. So if you give money, just hang out to the end of the episode and you'll probably hear your name at the end of this episode. We also got merch. Christmas is over, New Year's is over, but hey, you got that red envelope money or whatever the fuck it's called, go ahead and get yourself a nice Asian Not Asian hoodie, baby. Now that we're done with the announcements, Mike, it's been a minute. Happy New Year. Num chuck.
Holy,
I've been watching
holy, that's the new Ching Chong Bing Bong. Okay, Ching Chong.
I've been watching House of Ho, and they had a New Year's episode, and they said that.
Num chuck, buddy. Okay. God, someone has definitely yelled that to me from a passing Chrysler. You know, hey, dude, num chuck.
Num chuck.
And I'm just, woo.
Don't act like there isn't an N or C in this
There
phrase.
is.
Okay, I'm kind of there.
Hey,
I'm kind of there.
Listen, let me tell you something. It's not a Vietnamese phrase unless every single vowel is in it. Okay, so there's definitely a U. There's definitely an I. We don't say that for Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Chinese New Year thing.
It's a Lunar New Year thing. We'll say that more for that, but sometimes you'll throw that in there for New Year's.
Oh shit!
I mean,
got
you
it.
know?
So I should save this racist phrase for February.
Yeah, chuck me later. That's in February. Num chuck. We're gonna get that on a banner. Num chuck.
Oh, num chuck me later, bro.
Num chuck.
Goddamn.
Put that on a t-shirt.
How was your white New Year's Eve? Did you have a good time?
White New Year's Eve was good. I had some social distance drinks and just like hung out like at home. I'm just, I had the week off from work. Well, I had to work one day, but it was nice. The best part of like that New Year's to Christmas is like almost like it's not time. It's like non-time.
Yes.
Right, where you're
nobody's working.
Nobody's working. What day is it? I always think it's like this is proof that none of us could work and we could all just keep living our lives. What if we just did that, and I still spent money, hey, it's all good, so
Yeah, that was 100%. I mean, I think that the time between Christmas and New Year's is like, that's the original quarantine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
baby.
like that's when like we got to experience like, oh, nobody's working. And actually I fucking love this time because sure, I work hard, blah, 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 but I would prefer just not to do anything and get paid.
Yes.
I always imagine if I were rich, if my family had money, if my dad owned Honda or some shit, like this is the kind of life I would be living all the time. And it must be so nice to some people just live like that for the whole year. Just what you're experiencing these last 2 weeks, which is like a luxury for you.
Yeah.
That's some people's entire lives.
Yeah, man. For them, every day is December 29th or whatever, It's like you get the nice afterglow from Christmas, and then you're looking forward to New Year's. You're a little drunk the whole time. That's rich people's lives.
Yeah,
that's not us.
It's nice, man.
That's not us. We got to go back to work.
I know that this New Year's was really weird for everybody because you couldn't party, and like you just said, it feels like nothing. It truly just feels like nothing is registering. Like I just asked you, like, hey, what was you for New Year's? If I asked you in 2019, you'd have been like, oh, we went to this party. There was this band. Like you would have just like you'd been at least smiling while you're telling me. You have not smiled once since we clicked the record. I don't know what but that's the life for a lot of people.
I mean, it's just everything is just meh. Which I think is the best you can do right now. Right? It used to be like you could do awesome. Like I had a great night doing comedy or whatever the fuck it is. And now everything's just sort of like, which is like, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, meh just means like I didn't get COVID. I survived.
I did. I did do that. I went during my during the non-time. I did go to get a COVID test. I got one before Christmas, and then one after Christmas. And that I almost did the COVID test thing. I did it at Woodhull, which is a notorious hospital. All right. It's best known for being in many comedians' bits because it is so terrible. That's the main thing that it's good for, is that it's really good for comedy bits, which is one I'm about to do now. And
if you're a doctor, you want to make sure comedians keep your place of work out of their mouths.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no comedy. There's no comedy about New York Presbyterian. Okay.
No.
There's no jokes about Beth Israel. There's no jokes about Mount Sinai. No one's like rolling up to the, hey man, the other day I was getting my chemotherapy in Mount Sinai. No.
Yeah, they did a great job.
They did a great job and I'm alive. No, that's not a funny joke. Okay. A funny joke is I went to Woodhull to get a COVID test and I got COVID. No, I didn't get COVID, but that's the kind of, but I was there and, the line is outside and nobody seems to be in charge and you're standing there and you're like, you're standing in the cold, right? Mm-hmm, you're outside of this like brutalist hospital. And, I don't know if you know, but in the 80s, they used to show pictures of like, look at Russia where everybody has to stand in line outside of a government building because the country's so shitty, right?
Yeah.
That is now everywhere, all the time.
Yeah.
And I was standing out there and I almost did it just so I could, how sometimes, this isn't that funny, but how sometimes people cut themselves in order to feel something. I was standing out there because I was like, oh man, this really sucks. And I was like, this really is terrible. And now I feel something. So now when I go back to meh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
that's what it was.
I see. Gotcha. You were like, how runners go to Mexico to train because there's less oxygen?
Yeah.
You were doing that, but for happiness.
Yes,
What a
exactly.
sad life you live. My God. No, but I feel you, man. I mean, in terms of like not registering, I went to a chiropractor because, again, just to feel something, just to crack my back,
Yeah.
He asked me, he's like, oh, what did you get your girlfriend for your birthday? And like, or her for Christmas. And like, I like couldn't remember.
Oh,
I was
really?
Like, what did I was just like, because we were just like, Christmas was so, it was so mad that we just kept ordering stuff on Amazon and we just gave it to each other as it came.
Yes.
So just when now I remember because I've been thinking about it, but it was just like, I've never had a year where it's like, wait, what did I get her? And then he was like, what did you get? I'm like, what did I get? Like, I don't remember.
You know what's crazy?
Because it just... Yeah,
what's crazy?
Because it just came in like an Amazon box, basically, and we're just like, he was like, here you go, and I'm like, thanks, and I opened it, and it was a computer monitor or something, and I'm using it already.
I've talked about this on the show before, but like I feel like we used to, I definitely still do sometimes buy stuff on Amazon just to feel like something to look forward to in a couple days, Have you been? I don't know. I've been getting so much stuff in the mail that like I don't even know. I sometimes forget. Like sometimes I'll get a notification on my phone. Oh, FedEx package is on the way or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Did I buy something? And
what did I do?
What did I do? What happened? Like it's just everything just blends together. You get a package. You're not even excited. You don't get that bump. You don't get that key bump.
The Coke.
The Coke bump. From the package. We all used to like, hey, we all got a package. We got a package. Yay, that was really fun. No, now it's just like I don't even feel this anymore. I got to go straight to like shopping heroin. I got to go up one more level.
Yeah,
That's so funny. I'm going up.
I was talking to, I think this was at Viral House. I was talking to Hannah Dickinson about it, and she was just like, we were joking about suicide because why not? And then we were just like, yeah, should we do it next Thursday? And she's like, I got a lot of Amazon packages coming in that day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really just an excuse for people to just stay alive. These days.
Dude, I just need it, and I'll open up the package, and I'm just like, what the fuck did I buy? What is this? Why do I have this?
Yeah.
How did you spend New Year's, buddy?
New Year's, so basically when I got back from California, like I wasn't allowed to go out for 14 days or whatever. Also, numbers were going crazy, so nobody really wanted to hang out. And sure. I was truly in this like really bad mental state where like I was like, our Tuesday company meetings that we had, I like counted it as like a social event.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to talk to Fawn and Mike about the ideas I have for upping our Patreon tiers or whatever, like that was like a highlight for me, but I really, really just needed to see somebody who wasn't my girlfriend, just like anybody. And so who do I go to? I go to my sad single comedian friends. I say, hey, I know you're not doing anything because you're single as fuck and nobody loves you. So listen, why don't we go to dinner? Why don't we do an early dinner at like 6 and let's just talk some shit, and then I'm gonna go home and do the ball drop with my partner. So I got dinner, with a comedian friend of mine. I won't mention her name. I thought her and I were good friends. This is somebody I met in 2014. We've been friends since I was 24.
Quite a bit. I know who this person is too. So I mean, you know, I know. Who
We are good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I would even say she's one of my best friends in comedy, just because like we hang out quite a lot, and we get along, and or so I thought, I thought we were good friends, Mike. So I thought we were good friends. So we go.
The white woman is crafty. Okay, I will tell you.
She is so crafty, dude.
White women. Okay.
After this incident, I was like, man, I got a lot to say about this.
Oh,
it's
shit.
really
Go
like,
off, son. Go off.
Nobody can be trusted. Like, so I thought we were good friends, right? So we're like, I mean, years. We've spent 6 years together. I thought this meant something, you know,
in the trenches,
and so,
man.
Also, add to the fact that we were eating. So, hey, trigger warning. What's about to happen is racist, okay? But we go to this restaurant, this Korean restaurant in the East Village called Thursday. Have you been there?
No.
It's really good.
Okay.
They got these little tapas, and they got these like cute little drinks with they're like alcoholic Capri Suns with like a light ball.
Oh,
like a
yo,
ball
I
that
have heard of
lights
this
up
place.
inside.
So, quick aside, was it easy to get into? Did you have to have reservations or something?
Well, it's quarantine, so yeah, it was easy to get into.
Yeah.
But even in quarantine, we still had to wait 15 minutes.
I mean, it used to be one of
packed.
those spots where, you know, when you like go, oh, we're all gonna go to this new place. It's really cool. Thursdays, and we go there, and they're like, you know, the wait is like 3.5 hours, and you're like, fuck that, we're going to Chipotle. You know, so yeah, it was like that.
I went there like 2 years ago when they opened, and what I immediately linked it to comedy, because the reason why they got big, yes, their food is good, but let's be honest, it's East Village. Every restaurant is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The reason why they got big is because they got big on Instagram from that like Capri Sun pouch with the shining ball inside.
Yes, I remember
and
this.
I was like, yes, and I was like, oh, that's like comedy. Like you
need
could
to
be
have a thing.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a thing, then no one's gonna Instagram about you. And I was like, this is so sad, because there's so many restaurants that I love in the East Village that closed, and they're fucking good. And I'm not saying this Korean spot isn't good. It is good, but I'm saying it's not like a Michelin star restaurant, you know.
Right.
It's just like they had this cute idea. Some hot Korean chick was like, let's put this in this Capri Sun thing.
Here, it'll be like cool or whatever.
And they fucking blew up. But anyways, so we're going here. We're eating Asian food, by the way. How dare you be racist while eating Asian food? How fucking dare you? Get the fucking
and
noodles
not
out of your
just
goddamn dirty mouth.
millennial Asian food that's like ironic.
Millennial
and
Asian
Capri
food.
Suns.
Yes. But that's the thing. When Asian people go ironic and cater to white people, you gotta get racist eating there. That's what I realized. You know what I'm saying? That's why I respect those Chinese places that the sign is not in English. They do not speak English, and they wipe the table with the undrank tea. I respect those places because like, oh, they are actually deterring the white people, because they're like, we don't have time for your racist shit. Like, we just want the Asian people who are gonna come in here for the quality. Anyways, shout out to Chinatown.
Yeah.
So we're eating. And we're having a good time. She's single, whatever. And in a previous episode with Sherry Cola, I talked about bringing up race in a hot tub because one of my friends was complaining about how straight guys are terrible. This friend of mine was doing the same thing. She was complaining about how dating is so hard in New York. But I know this person's dating history. I know this person predominantly dates white guys, straight white guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know why I'm like a missionary for straight white guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm already partnered up, so I don't.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you considered straight Asian guys?
I straight Asian Jesus. You know, he drives
Bro,
an Acura.
I'm always doing that.
Yep.
I'm always doing that. I don't know why. I'm always trying to stand up for straight Asian guys. I'm like, why don't you try Billy Yang? You know, I'm always trying. To up our PR or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
I said, hey, why don't you, it sounds like you're dating a lot of white guys and you're having the same problems. Like, have you tried like dating an Asian guy or like a black guy or whatever? And then without missing a beat, she was like, oh, well, it's just, I'm not racist about my vagina is. Like, my vagina can't get off to that. And I was like, that's worse than I'm not into Asian guys. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Don't blame
Like,
your vagina. Yeah.
She was like, oh, it's just my vagina. Like, my vagina can't do it. And by the way, that's what John Mayer said. I learned from Kenny Mobley on one of the episodes.
What?
I guess John Mayer said that once. Somebody asked John Mayer if he's racist, and he said, I'm not, but my dick is.
Okay.
Meaning he only fucks white women.
Right.
But anyways, it was like, yes, like, it was such a nasty way to end the year, because like I got kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
and
sucks.
like, again, it wasn't personal. I think, and again, like, it's not like I haven't heard this. I think it's just because we've been friends for so long and we were eating Asian food. We were eating noodles.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And just everything put together. It was just like, but then again, it's like, is this not the most straight Asian guy way to go out or like finish the year?
100%.
Is just finish it with the classic. I finished it with the classic. I'm not gonna fuck you.
Yeah. No.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's how you know you're a straight Asian guy is if people will tell you to your face, I'm not gonna fuck you, and not even like after bringing it up. Sometimes I'll be at a barber shop and a stranger will come up to me and just be like, hey, I'm not gonna fuck you, and be like, oh, okay, well, thank you very much.
But you know what drove me crazy though is after I was like trying to convince her. I was like a used car salesman. I was like, no, we got a good deal. Don't leave yet. We got a good deal.
Hold on here. I see what you're talking about here. But have you ever thought about a Korean? Huh? Okay, check them out. Bring one out here.
So she was bringing up all the classic hacks. She's like, they got small dicks. I'm like, that's not even true. There's a porn site out right now called Yellow Fever, and it's this Vietnamese guy and this guy from UC Berkeley. They got huge dongs. Okay,
I've get those guys on the show. Okay, that's perfect.
And I was like, I'm sure some of these. I mean, I don't even think it's true anymore. Completely, it's not true. I remember being in high school showering with guys, and I remember looking at their penises, and I remember thinking it looks the same as mine. But the public narrative is that mine is smaller. So I thought maybe mine was. Anyways, so I was like, listen, I don't know. I haven't seen all the Asian dicks, but I don't know if it's true anymore. Yeah. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's true anymore. You should. I mean, at least you don't know one to. You've never seen one either. So why don't you go see one and check it out for yourself? And then she was like, "This is what white women do," and I feel straight guys do this with the concept of being gay. What they'll do is they go, well, I might be open if it was insert the hottest gay guy in the world.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And to a gay person, that's the most insulting thing ever because they'll be like, you think that guy wants to fuck you? You're fucking 6 out of 10 ass? You fucking Long Island Italian accent having, you eat fucking noodles with your hands fucking,
noodles.
You know what I mean? Like, so she said that. She was like, I might fuck, shout out to Feeling Asian podcast. She was like, I might fuck Brian Park. And I was like, you think he wants to fuck
Brian Park?
You think he wants to fuck you?
I have seen him reject actresses, like beautiful actors to their face. He's just like, he'll look at a 9 out of 10, a New York 9. Okay, I'm talking about a Midwest 15, and just be like, swipe left, hard left on him. Because I didn't like her sweater. You know what I'm saying? That's what Brian Park is not just like judging the person, it's also judging that person's taste. It's like another level of hot.
It's another level. Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking taste, this is a woman. She shops at Forever 21. Like this is not gonna happen between you two, And that's the reaction I was like, he would never look at you. What are you talking? You are dust. You are dust to him. You understand? You are the stuff that you are when my butt is wet in the summer and I wipe. You are swamp ass to Brian Park. That is what you are. He's gonna look at it and go ugh, and just throw it. He's gonna throw it back in the toilet.
The confidence level.
So that's
that white women have, and just regular straight guys, but like the confidence level that you have in order to just be to be like, you know what might deter my racism is the hottest guy. If I let the hottest guy in the world touch me, like come on, really?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to that thing we talked about a couple episodes ago about Hassan Minhaj,
Oh yeah.
And, with actors, actors, it's like Henry Golding or Jimmy O Yang. You can't have. There's no Seth Rogen Asian guy.
That is so amazing, and thank you for bringing the that Asian straight guy energy to 2020, the end of
2021. I'm bringing it with me.
The straight Asian guy energy is, that trombone sound, womp womp, like that's us.
Yeah.
Womp womp. That's us, dude.
Yo. But listen to me, okay? Listen, me and you, when we started this podcast, hey, maybe we had a little of that vibe happening, but because we had to get it out. And I think as we grew as people, as we grew as comedian, as the world grew post Crazy Rich Asians, we try to shed that. I would never, you know what I mean? Like if an Asian girl said I don't date Asian guys, I would never falter for it because I know society made her that way. I understand. Like I don't take things personally. I also don't believe that, I think maybe a long time ago people were kind of not into Asian dudes and stuff like that. I truly don't believe that anymore. I think there are a lot of people who are open to the idea. I realize that my friend is not, representative of all people in New York. But I think that there's a lot of people still like her, I guess, is what I'm saying. Well, and we forget that.
Well, I mean, like, it's kind of like, and I'm not saying your friend is a Trump supporter, but like, It's like we said all these.
I said that to her. I said that to her. I was like, that. You was like, you're the reason why Trump is president.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Yes. Okay. So like, we said all these things about, racial equality and blah, blah, blah. You went to go eat crazy, you went to watch Crazy Rich Asians and you're eating at your fancy Korean, millennial hipster meal. Right. But like, the anti-racism only got to the surface. It only got to like the mouth.
Yeah,
it didn't get all the way into...
Like they'll go to... Yes, it didn't go to the heart. Like, they'll go to a cool Korean restaurant.
Exactly,
But they're not going to fuck the owner.
Dude, okay, if you're going to have noodles, okay, you gotta fuck the owner, okay? That's the whole thing.
You gotta fuck...
Come on. Come on. That's the ultimate chef to the compliment to the chef right there.
Yeah. Bring the chef out. Bring the chef out here. I want to suck his dick. That's Ratatouille, but for real. I think that's what I realize is because I'm a pretty optimistic person, and I have seen differences, and I know that. I have a lot of white friends. So do you, Mike.
Yep.
You shit on them, but you have a lot more.
I do.
More white friends than I do, I think.
Yeah. My God is white.
I know that they don't. Yeah, and I know that when a lot of times in this podcast, and I've seen it in the comment section when we post these videos on Instagram, when we say white people this, white people that, people go, well, not all white people. I don't do this, and I hear you, but listen to my story. Like I'm at this hip Asian restaurant. I mean, it's hip. Like the patrons are pretty much all white. There's a couple cool Asian couples, but it's cool.
Yeah, and if this is not a safe space for Asian people, where is right?
What?
This
what
is the spot.
Exactly.
Right? This is where you're not expecting to see something like this, right?
Yeah. Maybe that played into it too. Like maybe I let my guard down because I thought I was surrounded by the Asian food, the Asian people. I think maybe I felt like I was in a safe space. I put my shield down, and then that's when she stabbed me with that I don't fuck Asian guy sword, which stings. So
you know what though?
Anyways,
I will say that this does mean that you guys are good friends because she revealed her racism to you. You know what I'm saying? That means something. That means something, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like that's like a dick. It's like the real nude, If you're really intimate with somebody, you will say something problematic to their face.
Exactly. Yeah, if you want to if you want to really show her how you feel, don't send her a dick pic. All right, tell her how you feel about Dominicans. Okay, that's how you know that's love, baby. Did you know that almost 40% of the United States is people of color, but medical research is 80 to 90% white?
That's crazy. Are you telling me that every time I read side effects on a bottle of pills or something like that, that is based on research only for white people, and they're not really thinking about my petite Japanese body?
That's right. They're not thinking about your tiny, tiny Japanese body, okay? This has serious consequences. In drug trials conducted primarily in the United States, Asians account for less than 2% of participants, but account for 6% of the U.S. population.
Listen, I'm not a scientist, but I know white people and Asian people, we have different bodies. For example, we got different earwax, and I know that makes a difference in my medication.
The All of Us research program is the largest and most diverse health resource ever and is representing all of those groups who have been left out of research in the past. People of color, seniors, rural areas, low income, LGBTQ, etc. It's up to you how much and what you want to share, and all of the info is secure and your identifiable info is removed, so it's anonymous.
And why should you trust them? It's managed by the National Institute of Health, NIH, one of the world's foremost medical research centers.
Why should you sign up? Well, for the greater good, to represent unrepresented groups, contribute to health research that could help the community, your family, maybe even you.
And you also get a $25 gift card.
And they're providing 10,000 free Fitbits starting early next year to bring people into research to help close gaps in representation. You can sign up and do everything safely from the comfort of your own home. Participation is power. Join to make a difference at joinallofus.org/Asian not Asian. You know what I also did in the in-between time is I checked out that new Andrew Schulz special special, whatever, comedy thing that came out on Netflix. It's called Schulz Saves America. And I wanted to talk about it, or I guess we wanted to talk about it for a couple things. It's broken up into 4 segments, right? And it covers kind of like different things that happened in 2020. And the first one talks a good amount about the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And for fans who don't know about Andrew Schulz, he is like, I don't even know what you want to call him. He's he's like a bro comic, I mean, he's very, very funny. I've seen him in real life. He's very funny in real life. His stand-up is great. I think I've talked about him before. I went to go see him, and you know, he's clearly a funny dude, and he's getting a lot of shit right now because he says a good amount of, there's not a ton of Asian jokes, but there's Asian jokes, you know, what we would call Asian jokes, you know, with the little trademark, you know, TM, Asian jokes, TM. In this thing, right? And he's been getting some heat from it. We've been seeing it on our Twitters. We've been seeing it on a couple articles, man. You know, like Fumi, what are your sort of thoughts on this?
So yeah, I mean, it got some buzz because the people didn't like the Asian jokes, and there was a next shark article about it. Let me just read this.
Yeah.
Next, Netflix's new comedy special Schulz Saves America is facing backlash for running dangerous and racist jokes targeting Asian people and calling the coronavirus the Asian parasite. People are saying, you know, it's the same sentiment that Trump had. Schulz's comments in his Netflix special reflects the same anti-Asian sentiment Donald Trump expressed in the past few months amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Here are some of the jokes that he told, okay? Just for context before I get into what I thought about it. Schulz refers to the virus as the Asian parasite and the Wuhan pandemic or Wuhan plague in the Netflix special. In comparison, Trump called the pandemic the Chinese virus Kung Flu, various other throughout the campaign. I know at one point, like, I didn't copy and paste all the jokes in here. Do you remember some of the things that he said? Like
it's stuff like that. I don't mean, you know.
It was like puns. It was like, yeah, it was like puns. He said like the only thing Chinese people love more than sneakers is spreading viruses. Like just like stuff like that. Like
yeah, it's you know, it's very much like his style. It's very fast, and there's like
it's fast.
There's like there's a lot of like you know,
it's not a stand-up show, by the way. It's more of like like what you would see at the beginning. It's like a monologue style.
It's like a monologue style thing.
Like Daily Show, but like kind of problematic. I guess.
And like when he shows, you know, like you got make sure to avoid beef and broccoli. Ha ha ha. You know, like it's stuff like that.
Yeah. So okay. This is what I think. Yes, I love his. I'll say it. I love his stand up. It's so funny.
He's very funny.
And he's been posting a lot of. This got picked up because he used to post this show as a YouTube/Instagram show, and it'd only be like 4 or 5 minutes long, and it was kind of like the Daily Show. He'd do like a wrap on the week, but he would do it from his point of view, which is like pretty aggressive. And I don't. This is the way Mike and I consume comedy. I don't agree with everything he's saying, but can I appreciate the way he connects the dots? Yes, because that's to me that's comedy. Comedy's math to me, and that's why I think it's funny. You know, but also like, like it's funny because like I thought 15 minutes was kind of long for this kind of segment because it's just like non-stop jokes, like a machine gun of jokes,
it's
like
very fast, and there's like almost every.
I didn't have time to breathe.
Yeah.
I felt like I was trying to decipher like Twista lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it was like. Except I was like, did he just say ching chong?
Does he want there? Yeah. Oh.
Here's what I gotta say about the whole thing, right? People are out there, they're like, what is this? Netflix, you're crazy. Like, how can he say this? This is anti-Chinese. I feel you. You're not wrong. But what did we expect from a guy like this? And his writer's room is all straight white guys who look the same, right? I'm not saying it's bad to be a straight white guy, but like, to me, again, it's math. You put that kind of people together, they're going to produce a certain type of product. Now, there were a lot of good jokes in that had nothing to do with being Asian, but if they got to touch on Asian because it came from China, and it's like, what do you expect? I mean, I think this goes back to the point that you and I hit a long time ago, and I recently made a video about this too. I think at the end of the day, white people think Kung Flu is funny, you know?
Yeah.
And when you get three white guys together who find that kind of humor to be funny, they're going to create more humor just like that. So, like, I'm not saying your emotions are invalid and wrong. I'm just saying, what did you expect?
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily three white guys, because you can get three white guys and together, and they'll vote for Bernie. You know, so it's like,
yeah,
like it's definitely Andrew Schulz style. So I know I have some friends who are not white and they love Andrew Schulz because. Yeah. You know, I mean, he does this thing, Andrew does this thing, which is like his hallmark, where he will toe the line in between the left and the right. He does that throughout the whole thing, where it's like, I'm not saying that, Republicans are this, but they are like blah, blah. And then, come on, look at the left. They're also doing this. So he does that a lot. And I said this before when I saw him live, is he is a professional, okay? He does this professionally, and he's really good at like doing the towing the line. And if this was a live thing, you can do jokes like this because you can read if the audience is into it or not. And if you feel that you went too far, you can like backtrack a little bit. And he's really good at doing this in person. And I would say the danger. I want to be careful about using the word danger, but the danger of it is that his audience might see it and go, oh, I could do that too, Oh, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like when you watch like a skateboarder do an awesome kickflip off of a half pipe, right? And then you watch, and then some kid is going to watch it and be like, yeah, I'm going to do that, but goes and like breaks his leg, So when I saw Andrew Schulz do it, I was like, Andrew Schulz is clearly joking and he is like really good at doing this thing. And I was cool with him doing it. And I was just sort of like, okay, well, I hope that no one in this audience thinks that they can do this, right? Because bros are going to be like, yeah, man, Wuhanic plague, got you, like they're going to like take that and and mess around with, but they're amateurs. These people, bros all think they're funny, but they're amateurs and they're going to go fall and break their leg while doing this. So that's sort of the thing. It's like
I like what you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's like when we had I can't remember who said it now, but one of our guests was talking about how you can see something, appreciate it, like as like, okay, I see why this is funny or whatever.
Oh, Jenny said that.
Oh, okay. So Jenny said this. So Jenny Yang. So she was like, yeah, you can see where something is I got it, comedy, funny, but I'm not gonna try to like signal boost this thing. You know what I'm saying? Which I again, I'm Andrew Schulz is very funny, and I feel that Andrew Schulz fans, they are always complaining about being triggered, but they also get triggered by saying that Andrew Schulz isn't the funniest. Like that. That's definitely a way to trigger him.
Yeah.
He's very funny. I very much get it. And if anything, I actually think that I thought it would be a little bit, because like you said, Fumi, it's very pun based, and it's visual based. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like and like Epstein jokes, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I could see where if Andrew did this live, it would be really funny. It would be like a really complicated bit. But this I felt was very kind of like, okay, it's good and it's fast, and it's like it's good for social media. I would see it's really good for social media,
I agree. I think that's why I loved it when it was like 4 or 5 minutes long.
Exactly. On Instagram, this is like a good, boom. Yeah.
15 minutes was just too long. No, I'm not saying it wasn't funny, but it was just like I seriously like I had to pause and put on subtitles and be like read the jokes. I felt like I was like, like I was like grading his paper or something. I like what you said about how because when Andrew does this live, he tests out, and it's not just Andrew. Louis C.K.'s done this. Dave Chappelle's done this. A lot of people have done this. When you do something that like when you're criticizing both parties, like left and the right, or just doing something like that could easily be construed as problematic, but it's not because you have a smart point. What you do is you test that a lot on stage to gauge people's reactions, and you go, okay, but this word is really throwing them off, so I'm gonna not use that word. I'm gonna bring this up first to make me look like a good guy, and I'm gonna say this at the end so they trust me and they get to laugh. You do a lot of like reorganization. I think with shows like this, there is no feedback. The feedback is your writer's room. And when I said white guys, let me correct myself. I don't know all the writers, but I know 2 of them are like club comics. That's what I meant by white guy, right? I'm not talking about like the Josh Gondelmans. He's the head writer for This Is a Miro. Okay, He would do something else, right? It's just that like when you get a certain type of white guys together who are like, club comics. I like club comedy. Okay, but I'm just saying you're gonna get a certain kind of thing. That's kind of what I meant by that. But there's no. If that's your soundboard, if you can't really try it out. I think if you can't try it out and everybody you're surrounded by thinks a certain way, then I think you're just gonna get like kind of an extreme version of that. And so, I
mean, I do think that it's interesting because I feel like, we were kind of talking about, Days and Days or whatever, and how people want a certain kind of ideology, and I think it's kind of like telling that like Netflix is. There's been a lot of comedy where it's very, very liberal. You had a lot of, you have This Week Tonight, and you have, Daily Show, like a lot of stuff like this, right? But I think people are also realizing that they will also want to have. I wouldn't say this is right wing at all. This comedy at all is right wing, but it is a little bit. it's not like very left. Okay, this isn't Bernie Sanders-y, comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? For sure.
yeah.
This is undecided comedy.
Yeah, there's no donation link for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
on this
exactly.
channel.
Yeah, this is like undecided comedy, which a lot of people are into, and I think that's a little bit more telling than the fact that he put this out. Is that everything money drives it. Netflix saw that this could. That he has an audience. He has a huge audience. He has a Patreon, which is insane, right? And
he makes $80,000 a month.
$80,000
By the way,
a
step
Patreon.
it up, anals. Okay, we want to make 80,000.
So-
we're not even close.
So that's what I mean. I think that that should tell you a little bit more about what is going on rather than Andrew necessarily doing. Andrew just hit the spot. He has an audience that he wants, and it's not just white people, dude. It's like. Asian people are into this too. Black people can be into this too. It's all kinds of different folks. So, that's the thing I think we should like kind of think about. And I mean, if you don't like Andrew Schulz, don't watch it. It's all good. There's plenty of other funny stuff. You can donate to our Patreon instead of giving $80,000 to him. just a thought. But if you do like Andrew Schulz and you like this kind of stuff, then you're gonna love it.
Moving on to our second race news here, which is kind of related.
Yeah, this is interesting too.
Today's all
comedy stuff.
Today's all about comedy.
You know what? This is good. This is other comedy people who are making it, and we're not. This is what this is all about.
Yeah.
So now there's a stand-up comic in China who's killing it.
We're going to China now, and it turns out in China, also shitting on Chinese people. Yeah. This is a New York Times article. Headline reads, "She mocked men's bluster. Then came the complaints. A stand-up comedian in China suggested that some men had an unwarranted confidence. An attempt to censor her followed." So Yang Li, a comedian, was on a show called Rock and Roast, which is kind of like Last Comic Standing, but in China, mainland China. This is not Taiwan or Hong Kong. And she told a joke about the men and their egos, and the joke went something like this. It was something about like, how can he look so average and still have so much confidence? Now, that's not that funny, but I'm sure there was a lot of setup and translation things got lost or whatever. But that was the gist of the joke. She was making fun of how men are really cocky for not being, men ain't shit, but they're cocky, which is a very, very common and funny premise in America. We hear that all the time. I love it.
And
I
it
love
is very
hearing
funny.
about.
It can be very funny, and it can be very true too. You know what I'm saying? Like for sure, 100%. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And then a lot of people who saw it on the internet got upset, including a fucking a professor, a University of International Relations in Beijing, Professor Chu Yan. He's a law professor at the University of International Relations in Beijing. His name is Chu Yan, and he commented, "How special does a man need to be? How special does a man need to be to appear confident to you? Maybe these average men don't look so good, but you're probably the ugly one after you wash off your makeup." Ooh. This is classic toxic masculinity, my friends. Classic. And you know what? I have a lot of thoughts about this, okay? There's more to this, but basically that's just what happened, all right? People are upset. Men are like, ooh, the men's ego are so fragile. And I gotta say, the East, and I'm talking Japan. I'm gonna also say Korea. I'm gonna also say China, Philippines, whatever. A lot of Asian countries, we still got a lot of work to do in terms of resolving toxic masculinity. Like, we may not fucking hit our wives or like put acid on their faces like they do in some countries, but like it shows up in these other ways. And like, I don't know. I always think about how like obviously America and the West has problems too with toxic masculinity, but like I always think like sometimes toxic masculinity in the West looks like chivalry. Like they treat a woman like she's mentally disabled. Like they'll open a door for her because she doesn't know how to open a door with her small hands. But like Asian or like East toxic masculinity is a lot like let us men work. And I feel like that, I mean, I've seen that in my family. I've seen that in my Asian friends' families. I've seen that on TV. And I feel like this comment from the professor was very much like, I mean, he's a fucking law professor. Like what he's already making money. He's respected. Why is he weighing in on this? It's that fragile for him at this point, because like they even said in an article that the Me Too movement started in China, but it got shut down. Yeah. That's the status of all this like gender equality shit happening over there. So like, I mean, I really hope she's okay. I don't know. What did you think about it initially?
I mean, yeah, I think it's cool. And I don't know that much about stand up in other countries. I want to say, and I think this is true, that the stand up in America, English speaking or not, is the best, because of a couple things. We invented it and we do it the longest, but also we have like a tradition of like just saying the truth, just like talking truth to power or like talking shit, whatever. It doesn't have to always be like a very high end thing, but you get to say pretty much whatever you want. You can talk about anything. You can talk about your period. You could talk about your fleshlight.
Yeah.
You could talk about whatever thing. And there's it's almost, people go to comedy shows, I think, to expect a little bit of taboo, right? We were just talking about Andrew Schulz, and Andrew Schulz does that, where he talks a little bit about taboo, things that you're not supposed to say, right? And that's I think something where America is, we're pretty good at that in stand up, and we have a tradition of it, and we have like whatever. And I think in other countries, they're pretty new at stand-up, right? So it's just kind of like what you think of as a new comedian, right? You're gonna go through a lot of like very simple jokes first, right? Oh, take my wife, haha. Like you're gonna get through all these things before you get to like really interesting things. And I wish I want to know if someone, one of our Chinese-speaking fans can tell us like how good would you say the stand-up is in other countries? And I mean, of course everything can be funny, but is it like super developed? Is it like, there's a very strong point of view? Because this joke here, like men ain't shit, like they're so confident, right? That's a great starting point. And I think there's really funny things you can go from there. But it's also like it's the guy equivalent of no one will fuck me, right? Because it's a premise that like a lot of comics get to quickly. Right. And then it can become like a really awesome joke as it goes along, and so far this seems really.
I love that you're on the side of the law professor. I love this energy.
Well, no, hold on.
Maybe the joke wasn't good enough.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm saying that but
that's a good point, though.
Is the scene really good? And I think that's the thing. I don't know how good this joke is because it's in another fucking language. Like the joke the joke that she has so far could be very funny. I think it's very. It's
just the premise for sure, though.
The premise is funny.
That's the thing is if that's a premise, then I could see because like, a lot of times like comedians do offend people with just a premise because they don't have a smart take. So they'll be like, "Why do women do this?" And then they don't have a smart example that makes women go, haha, I guess we do that. I think maybe she did have that, it's just not translated, but like for sure, if I'm gonna shit on both sides like Andrew Schulz, I will say if that's where she ended, then I'm gonna say I don't know that she doesn't need to be receiving death threats, but I'm gonna say it's not that funny.
Right.
But if there was more and people are sort of like offended by it, that's more of a society thing. I think it's a combination of both at this point. But you bring stand up is a very American thing, and I find it so interesting because like I feel like China and Russia, they like try so hard not to be, consumer friendly and like it's stand up comedy is the best example of like individualism. It's me, right? And I feel like China is very us. And to me, it's like so weird to like embrace this art form because from what I hear, China is actually embracing stand-up quite a lot, and it's weird to hear that they're embracing this American art form where it requires a lot of individuality and a lot of like taboo topics. And then being like, we don't like that. Like you knew that was the product. What did you think was gonna happen?
Well, that's really what my point was. I wasn't trying to make the point that like maybe she's not that good yet, but I think that as a stand-up scene develops, you are going to get into more and more taboo subjects, and so this is just the beginning, right? This is just this men ain't shit premise is just the beginning of real crazy shit that you could talk about. I mean, I don't know if people are. They don't have a Me Too movement over there. They don't have like any of this other shit. They don't have any political jokes, right? I mean, in Japan, there is no such thing as stand-up comedy, right? Partially because you can't make jokes about politics, right? Which can be like this huge thing. There's no law against it, really. It's just that people just don't do it. So I think is going to be the really interesting thing as comedy develops there. Is it going to, right now, if you can think of like Chinese stand-up is, a third-year comic, right? It's getting funny and it could be really interesting, but like to get to like the next level, I don't know. I would imagine that you would need to have deeper takes. You need to have like go even more taboo. You need to really talk about the things that are really bothering you, and then and then you can have some really interesting stand-up.
But that is like it's so tough because the government is listening to every
that's
word
what I'm
you
saying.
say,
That's
know?
what I'm saying. So
and it's
then,
like,
will you end up having like this very simple like comedy, which I mean could be funny too, I guess, but like yeah.
Yeah, you're like limiting its growth. The government's like limiting its growth, and it's crazy because like China has so many crazy things happening. I would love to hear us somebody from what are those camps called? The Uyghur camps, the Uyghur people.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet that guy is funny as fuck because you gotta be funny
Dude.
to be fucking living like that,
Dude,
you know?
Dude, you man, I need to hear some.
Right now, there's a Uyghur,
there's
Chris Rock,
100%.
who's like, there are Chinese people, and then there are Uyghur Chinese
Uyghurs,
people.
man. You know what? Let me tell you about my detention camp. You know, like there is going to be some funny shit that comes out of there, but you can't talk about that shit. You know?
I know. Oh, so sad, so sad. So maybe if there's a World War III, and I don't know if China opens up or something, that we might be looking at a Netflix special from a very funny Uyghur comedian in 2070.
I would love to hear, if any of our fans out there, if they right now we tried to find the bit, and we found some like Chinese language stuff, with this comedian, but it is not in English in any way. So there's no English subtitles, so we can't even get to it. So if one of our fans can tell us, what do they think of this, what they think of the scene, I'd love to understand, man. Sounds interesting.
I agree with that.
Because then this is my last point is when I went to Korea, they the comics there are very new, right? And but there was already there was a group of like female comics, and Young Me talks about this too. There's a group of female comics and there's a group of male comics, and the female comics were always talking about how the male comics thought they were the shit even after doing like 5 open mics. And the female comics are like, what the fuck? Woo! Why are male comics like this? And it is true. Like there's in America too, a lot of male comics are like, they think they're the shit. They think they're so fucking funny. They just started doing comedy. So I think it's a universal thought, right? But I think in Korea too, it's going to be a problem because they're not used to talking about shit like that. It's you and I, we talk about anal all the time. We had a huge segment about your fucking fleshlight. Do you think they could do that in Japan, Korea, Vietnam, or China? There's no fucking way,
No way. So if you live in those countries, hit us up. Let us know what we're doing because hey, we could be wrong. I did try to watch a Chinese set. I didn't laugh at all, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't speak Chinese. I was watching it, so let us know what's up. Because right now I don't think she's funny. Okay, we're at our last segment here. Mismanagement Consulting. This is a segment where we take questions from our guests and we try to answer them on this podcast using traditional consulting methodologies. Mm-hmm. If you want to submit a question, and it could be any questions. It's like a life advice kind of segment.
Anything.
Let me, if you want to submit, please email us at asian.asianpod.com asian.asianpod.com. No, asian.asianpod@gmail.com. Or or text or leave a voicemail at 917-755-9596. Nice. That's 917-755-9596. We prefer voicemail, even though only 2 people have done that. I thought I really hit it off with this Korean guy. Parentheses, I'm Filipino. Close parentheses. And we got to talking about family values. He even brought up liking the Philippines and wanting to settle down in Asia on our first date, which is something I've always wanted. But then after we had sex on the second date, he ghosted me. He replied to exactly 1 text after the night and never replied when I asked him if he wanted to do a virtual date since I was going to visit family for the holidays. Give your honest opinion as 2 straight Asian men. Should I text and ask him what happened, or should I just move on? It's been about 2-3 weeks since I was ghosted. Parentheses. Also, would it be too desperate to be the one to reach out and ask if he'd be DTF?
Whoa, down to fuck. Whoa. Dang. This is a good one, I think. And we're qualified.
By the way, the theme of today's episode has been like, straight guys are so bad. We're such bad people. We're so mean.
It's
really crazy.
I always think about when we had your friend on and she was saying like how dudes, we only give like 70%.
30.
Or
Yeah.
the 30%, whatever it is.
Yeah, she said she wanted to be 50-50.
Yeah.
And then you were like, what if we only have 30?
We only have 30. And I agree that we should straight guys should give more, but we don't have 30 is our 100. That is like the most. We're trash. I don't understand. I don't understand that. The one thing I'll say is like, I always hear comedians talk about how men are trash. And we are. What do you expect? We're garbage. What do you want? You just said we're trash. Don't try to change us.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy here. So we're trash. Fumi and I are both trash. Corporate trash, though. Corporate trash.
Corporate trash.
And so
Yes.
are. This is a good one. I feel this is a good classic dating, millennial or young people dating scenario, with the whole ghosting thing and all that stuff. Okay, so I don't know. I think. You want to go first, or you have a couple notes here?
Let's do some initial reactions, and then we'll get to like a corporate analysis of this. Okay, just some initial reactions.
Yep.
You guys sound young to me. This sounds like a young guy move, especially because you're using acronyms like DTF. I can no longer use acronyms like that, or else I'll get arrested. So I think you guys are like in college, and let me tell you this: this is that classic story. You gave him sex, and he stopped texting you after sex. What do you think happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. In old Japanese language, not even old, it's actually fairly new, we have this saying called philosopher time. Are you familiar with this concept, Mike?
No. Tell me more.
Philosopher time in Japanese it's kenja time. Okay, but our word for time is just the word time, but with a Japanese accent, time. And what that means, it's referring to the moment after a man ejaculates, where he is thinking very clearly about everything and he's no longer horny. Okay, that's called philosopher time in Japanese. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys know what I'm talking about. After you come or whatever. After sex, especially if it's like a one night stand, I think a lot of guys will find themselves in a position where they're like, "What am I doing? I gotta get back and do taxes."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That feeling, that's called philosopher time. Which, explaining it is already like so misogynistic somehow, and I nobody thinks it's funny, but I think it's so funny when I fucking found out about the word. But I think there's a little bit of that happening. It's like you gave him sex, and again, straight guys are shitty. He could have been saying like, "I'm all about family. You're Filipino. Let's go to the Philippines. I'd hang out with your family." Like a straight guy before sex will say and do anything.
Oh my God, babe!
To get the sex.
Say and do.
I will.
Right? You could get a horny Asian dude to like become a Nazi. Okay, which is
that's why Mike went to Berkeley, because he was horny. He wasn't even smart.
I didn't want to go. I was like, I'll go. Okay.
But a girl he liked went there, so he was like, I guess I'll study.
I don't give a shit. I'll get a 2.0. I hate school. School's stupid. Yeah, dude.
Dude, that's
you
the thing.
cannot trust a dude. You should ask. I feel that like you cannot trust a dude before he comes. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how it should be. Before every. You know how when you go to court and they say, "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?"
Yeah.
No. They shouldn't do the oath. They should make the guy jerk off right there
jerk
on
off.
stage.
Yeah.
Right? And jerk off right there. And as soon as he jizzes, you got 5 minutes to ask him any questions you want.
Yeah.
That's when he's going to tell
Who
you.
did it? It was me.
Yeah, I did it. That's the only time. You
The crime rate would go up so high.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot trust a straight dude before he jizzes. Anything he says about family, he could be lying. Values, he doesn't have any values, as we can see.
Bro, who talks about family on a first date?
This dude is like, "Hey man, I might go to Asia." Are you serious?
Yeah, Asia. He was talking about your vagina,
Dude,
girl. Get out of there.
girl.
Get out of there.
The more here's the test, I feel. Okay, you should test women. You can test us by and what level of lying we're willing to get into. Okay, you can say stuff like, "Hey man, would you think about ever killing someone?" And if he says yes, that guy's horny. Okay.
Yeah.
If he says, if you're like, "Hey, maybe I want to move to Siberia." "Oh, girl, I love snow." Yeah, dude, that guy is horny. He is not into Siberia. Okay, give him a test. Give him a test. Say something outrageous, outlandish, and if he agrees with you, don't trust this motherfucker.
Yes.
On the first date, if you want to know if it's going to work, you got to be able to know that this guy has a limit. Okay, if you're like proposing robbing a bank, and he's like, "Yeah, girl, get in my car. I got a mask right now. Let's do this." Don't trust that guy. Okay, you need to test him
100%.
before. Okay.
I mean, that's the sad thing is like he won't respond to your text about family, but he definitely will respond to like a nude or something.
There are 3 things that he will text back to. 1, DTF. Okay, hey, you want to just hook up and like mess around? 1.
Yeah.
2, I just went to the gynecologist and I have herpes. 3, I missed my period. Those are the 3 things, okay?
Those are the 3.
Yeah. You're gonna be getting a text back. Maybe the 3rd one, he might like like block you and just like move out of the. Then he's moving to Asia. But
that's how. By the way, that's how you. Okay, so that's how you want to. If you want him to move to Asia with you, you gotta send him one of those scary texts. Be like, hey, I think I'm pregnant, and everybody in the country knows about it.
Yeah,
he will move.
I think too. I mean, and right to the point, you know. Should I text and ask him what happened? No, you already got your answer. Okay. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, I just got this text." No, you didn't. You just didn't want to talk to me. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
We're in 2021. Okay, America does not have a good health system, but we have very good SMS text technology. That text got through. He read that text. It came into his brain, and he's like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm out of here because I'm a piece of trash." That's what happened. Okay, blame the brain. Don't blame the technology. So
the iPhone's fine. iPhone's working.
The iPhone
great.
is working great. Okay, that SMS came through even on LTE. Okay, it came through even on LTE. So should I just move on? I think so. I think that's probably what it's going to be. If you want to have a friends with benefits situation, that's scope creep, and I'm not going to answer that question because that is a separate question. That's a whole other thing. If you want to be going down engagement. That, hey, I don't know. I can't ask you. I can't tell you about that. Resubmit a question, and then I will think about answering it because so that I can only give you one truth dart at a time. So,
this is kind of more of a serious note, but I don't think she should text back because even if he doesn't want to hook up, what's gonna go into his mind if she says, "Hey, do you want to just fuck instead?" Then. He's gonna be like, I'm the fucking man.
Oh shit!
And it's gonna, and it's like he's gonna do it to somebody else. It's gonna justify his behavior. There's this narrative out there. I don't know who made it up. It's like, you have to pretend like you don't like the girl to get the pussy.
Oh yeah.
You're just like you're feeding into that. And if we want to sort of get rid of this energy, which is what you and I are trying to do, Don't give it to him. And I think if you want a DTF situation, you can find a new guy to hook up with and just make that clear and make that happen for yourself. Because I think you're a very sweet girl. I don't know, but you're Filipino, and all the Filipino people I know are very sweet. And I think you probably sing. Yep. Am I being racist? Probably. But like you're very beautiful. I think, and you don't need.
it's getting further and further. Yeah. You're a wonderful person, and I love you so much. And I think we should settle down.
Yeah, you should actually just call me instead.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, so I think the lesson here is don't trust guys.
Yep.
Don't trust the guy before he comes.
Don't trust the guy before he comes.
Maybe, and if you hook up if you see another Korean guy, just before he sees you, ask him to jerk off or something, and then you'll get
ask
the
him
truth.
To jerk off. This is the one thing I will say that the one thing I don't think this plays into it is the actual, the quote unquote races of these people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this has anything.
No.
I'm like, I don't really. Don't worry.
It's not race. It's just a guy.
No.
It's
he's
a guy
just
thing.
a piece of crap. It's not because he's Korean and because you're Filipino. No, he's just just say the word he. Just he. Yeah. He's trash. Got it.
Okay. Well, we hope that you make the right decisions. But if you have other questions, please resubmit, and we'll send you another invoice for $8,000. This was a lot. We did a lot of talking.
That was a good
one.
one.
We love you, and if you want to submit, please hit us up at MISMANAGEMENT Consulting 917-755-9596. Thank you.
Thanks.
And that was our episode. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We don't have a guest today. This is the part of the show where I say, do you have anything you'd like to plug? But there's no guest today, so I'll plug my shit. Please follow us on Instagram.
Yep. But we do have awesome guests coming up. We won't say who yet, but we
do have
really awesome guests coming up. So
and you know what?
Yeah.
it's good that we didn't have a guest today because it's nice to open the year with just the boys.
Just the
boys.
Set the tone, We're trash.
So please follow us on Instagram at Asian.AsianPod. I am also on there at the Fumiabe. That's TheFumiabe.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Please check out our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod for bonus content. We put a lot of work in there. We're gonna release more stuff. We're gonna play video games on Twitch together. We just want to talk to you, get to know you. Also merch. We got merch, so go to Asian.AsianPod.com/merch to get those hoodies. It's actually really comfy. You will not regret it. And Hack City, our Zoom stand-up comedy show, the next one will be this coming... it'll be the 8th, January 8th, 8 p.m. Yep. So just go to Asian.AsianPod.com for tickets. Mike, was there anything else you wanted to plug before we let our anals go?
Nope, I think that's it. Yeah, man, this 2021, we made it to here. Let's make this a little bit better than May this year.
Absolutely. And honestly, just a quick thank you to everybody who's been supporting us during the quarantine because
100%.
we ended up picking up a lot of new listeners and like we thought we were gonna die. We really thought this operation was gonna shut down. So thank you for like donating, just listening, sharing your friends about it. We really, really mean it. And when New York opens back up again and we have Hack City in real life, we hope that you come out and say hi to us because we could not do this without you. So we love you, anals, and please tune in for the rest of the month. We got amazing guests, and we'll see you next week. Bye. And we are back with Patreon shout outs. If you joined our Patreon membership or whatever we're supposed to call it this month, you get a shout out and we're going to guess your ethnicity based on your last name. A very racist game. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod for bonus content. We got monthly bonus episodes on there. We got a bunch of random ass videos that we put there on a monthly basis, extra race news, all kinds of stuff. So if you want more of this, more of me and Mike getting weird, just one-on-one, two straight Asian guys. If you go to Pornhub, can't find that, go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod.
One thing that's interesting too is you can get this Patreon, get up on Patreon for like $1, okay, which doesn't get you all the content, but you can get on there and you get a Patreon shout out, which is what we're about to do. But
if you want all the stuff, you need $5 or more. But go ahead.
And what's funny though is lately I've been seeing people. You can also like do the whole year Patreon all at once if you're so inclined.
Yes.
Which we saw a bunch of people do. So I'm starting to think that this is some sort of tax dodge for people because like people are like like putting down like not like a ton of money, but hey, I'm just like, hey, so let Fumi and I be your tax shelter. And win, we win, everybody wins, you get some content and all that good stuff.
This is definitely considered charity, I think. I mean, it's called Patreon. It's all donation-based. So, hey, if you want to cheat on your taxes.
Hey, we're orphans, baby.
We're orphans, baby. Give it a try. Okay, first dude coming up. First Patreon person. James Fallisgaard with 2 A's. Fallisgaard.
Oh, shit. Okay, this guy's Viking, first of all. And
2 A's. Holy shit.
All right. Yeah, exactly. He is a Viking. There you go. Nailed it.
Oh, but you know what? His thumbnail picture, I think, is a Taiwanese flag. So perhaps a Viking made his way all the way to the island of the Taiwan. And
yeah, dude, you know how Vikings are. They were rolling up everywhere, bro. So shouts, congratulations on your journey. Okay, Skarsgård. And yeah, great. Thanks for our money.
Thanks. Then we got, this is not a real name. It's Toasty Flatworm. Actually, that might be the most Asian username of all, to be honest. Toasty I feel like I've seen that when I played StarCraft. Yeah.
Yeah, then that's good. That also sounds like one of those things you can order at a boba shop that like sounds gross, but is actually really tasty, you know?
Yeah. It's like a strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you want some toasty flatworm? I don't know why we call it that. It's just toast.
I think this person's Korean from the conjectures we just made. I think you're Korean. Gotcha. Okay. Then we got Steve Chang, Cheng.
ENG, Chinese.
Shouts. Justin Chen. Chen.
Justin Chen. Also Chinese. Yeah. Well, Taiwanese. You know what? Let's mix it up.
Taiwanese. Hey, let's mix it up. Then we have Jordan Long Comedy. So here's what happened. Last week we thought a Jordan Long complained saying we didn't give him a shout out, and we did. And we thought it was this guy, but it turns out there's another Chinese guy named Jordan Long.
What?
So this
That's
is
impossible that there are two guys named Jordan Long.
Yes. Also, just to go back to Justin Chen, I feel like we have 10 other Justin Chen. So, like, I don't know if this is somebody who keeps signing on and signing off, or if this is a different new one. Either way, you're Chinese and welcome. Jordan Long, he's in Hong Kong. I'm going to go ahead and say he's Hong Kongese. Nice. Then we have Dami Taiwo. Taiwo. I think this person is Nigerian. I feel like I've met a Nigerian person named like Dami or Demi or something like that.
Dami Taiwo. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I feel like a Nigerian name is like almost Japanese, right? Like
Yes,
almost.
yes.
Yeah. This person
Yes.
definitely feels like we could have gotten there, but this is I think Nigerian.
For sure.
Yep.
Trisha Capistrano. Capistrano.
This person is a missionary. There you go. Nailed it.
Then we have Jose Paz. P-A-Z. That's an
P-A-Z.
interesting. Yeah, Portuguese maybe. Portuguese.
Portuguese. But I'm
Portuguese.
gonna say, definitely Filipino. Anything where it sounds like it's the title to a Christmas sermon is going to be, like De La Cruz, Paz.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Filipino. So yes, Filipino and Jose for sure.
Sure.
Mai, just M-A-I. That's probably Vietnamese, I think.
M-A-I. Yeah, it could be Vietnamese. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't
It
had
could also
one in a
be-
while. Thanks.
So yes, and then finally we have Angela Lam. L-A-M.
L-A-M.
I knew a Tam, and she was from Hong Kong, but I don't know if they're related.
Lambs.
Lamb.
There's some lambs that are Chinese, and some that are Vietnamese, and some that are Vietnamese Chinese. We're gonna do a Vietnamese Chinese this time because we haven't had one of those. in a
Vietnamese
while.
Chinese.
Hey.
Hey, love your food. Love it when they mix. I know you have a terrible history, but the food is good when you mix.
Worth it.
Guys. So that was our Patreon shoutouts. Thank you so much. And if you want to get in on this game, please go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod and give us your money.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.